What's going on, guys, and welcome back to the channel and to the second episode of this year's Road to Glory series. I just want to start off by saying a big thanks for everyone who's shown you support on the most previous videos and over on my Twitter and Instagram pages as well. Them being where I just share a lot about what I'm actually doing meanwhile, whether it's graphic designing, showing a bit of progress when I'm playing my games, talking football, etc. If you are interested, make sure to go check them if you haven't already. The links will 100% be down in the description box below. And as ever, with every intro, just before we get into the actual video, make sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already with your notifications on. Of course, it's free and very important to helping me out and the channel a hell of a lot. And in doing so, as always, I will be keeping you guys up to date with the latest and greatest FIFA news and content as we head on into the upcoming season. And now, picking up from last episode, if you can remember, of the Road to Glory, starting with just kind of building a stronger side than previously. You know, it's pretty clear to see that I have been able to make several changes to the side that at that point are very important. And there is a very eye-catching recruitment of Nelson Semedo, as you can see there at the right back spot, as Wolverhampton's newest signing from Barcelona this time. As you're likely aware, it's quite a big signing, I'd say. I managed to pull him out of a 2-goal player upgrade pack, as you probably know what they are as well, being that, you know, you put 11 goal players in. That can be common, that can be rare, that can be whatever rating you want. You have to reach the 40 chemistry threshold. Once you do that, you get 2 rare goal players with no minimum or maximum cap, and so, you know, you can get some pretty good players. And I'd have to say that kind of pack is probably the greatest investment in terms of pack types, just using your assets outside of the transfer market trading. If you are packing all of these amazing cards, or even just bang average cards later on in the year, sometimes, you know, even if they're low rated, these sort of gems like this guy, who, you know, now goes for around 50k on the transfer market if he was tradable, you can seemingly get like a bad pack, even if it's like an 83 rated overall is what I'm trying to get to, for example, and still be well off because the power curve is so low at the moment, and the fact that these basic cards are so valuable, it's very worthwhile just putting in these deadwood sort of gold players from your club and just, you know, try and get these top players to start in your team. And as always, just starting off with the very important side of FUT, you know, that's always overlooked, as I mentioned in the last episode, doing a bit of trading, coin flipping, doing a few collections of these coin boosts that you get for season progress, and just starting your club up, and then just looking after the club overall, you know, whether it's just clearing out the useless consumables and players, recycling those silver cards for gold cards, etc. And doing the basic objectives and SBCs, getting everything well up and running as everyone does, and as I'm trying to do now, not only with the club but with the series as a whole, trying to, you know, find a sort of system that works best for this channel and try and get these videos out regularly for the viewing. And something I noticed that I did kind of gloss over in the last episode of the Road to Glory last time around, I did mention that, you know, a lot of my habits did actually seep through into my gameplay. And the sole reason for going into squad battles probably was the fact that the rewards were the closest to coming out, so my time was better spent playing squad battles as opposed to rivals or, you know, any other game modes. But I did also notice that the meta this year is so similar to last that it's probably the first year where they haven't changed it all too much. It's not like 19 where it was totally about getting these back and front post headers, you know, having tall, strong players that can do very overpowered skill moves like El Tornado. And then last year was a complete opposite jump, being that it was all about these small, agile, fast players. I do think this year it might be all about pace and agility and even strength, maybe, because players like Aubameyang, if they have the pace and the strength, they just seem to absolutely shred people. I did want to focus on this segment of the video would be more so on just spending my trial hours on getting my rivals placement, and then obviously in the squad battles trying to try out these new players in my team, testing the meta, and then trying to gather a respectable coin balance. And then obviously wanting to talk about the next episode being some FUT draft gameplay, hopefully, and then a few of my placement games and maybe my rewards for those placement matches, and then maybe some big updates on the club and the progress I, you know, will have been making. I also wanted to talk about the game and the fact that, you know, it's actually pretty decent. I feel like I'm flip-flopping on it a little bit. On the one hand, I don't enjoy the gameplay too much, but so far content's been pretty decent. You can't expect too much because it's only just been out. But I think it's just the fact that maybe the game isn't the best, but it's the feel in the community that's just a little bit less toxic than usual, and it's so refreshing. I think everyone's just trying to give it their best, and pack look, at least for me so far, as we'll go on to see, has actually been quite kind to me, as opposed to maybe some of the previous years, especially at the start of the year. And then in terms of actual promos and content from EA, the ones to watch is out as I'm obviously recording this, but as this gameplay was on, This is still in the trial, so the game is not even out at this point, but I will obviously catch up, don't worry too much about that. My focus would be on how EA are approaching the game this year, and how they're releasing like the Team of the Week, how they're releasing all these promo cards and objective cards. And with the Team of the Week, I always seem to want to reiterate that the series will obviously stay. I do enjoy doing the prediction videos, so they will stay. And what I did want to say was the fact that the Team of the Weeks have been pretty good so far. Even in an international break, which can obviously be polar opposites. On the one hand, you could have Slovakia playing Bosnia or something in Group H, and you know, there's nothing very exciting in terms of FUT because there's no good players, at least in Ultimate Team. No disrespect to the actual players and the teams and the fans, but it's just an example of maybe why it's not exciting. But then on the one hand, if France are playing Portugal and one guy has an absolute belter of a game, then it's going to be a very, very big game in terms of actually like giving these players their deserved cards. And so in that sense, I do think EA have done pretty well so far. And then in terms of promos, we have got ones to watch, as I said, but also we will be seeing Ultimate Scream, we will be seeing Footmas and Team of the Year, all very soon, I'd say, and maybe another promo in between if they decide to add one, you know, during maybe the Black Friday promos or whatever. We will have to see, as always. I did want to talk about FUT Champs being the first weekend league that's going to be available, and it's been delayed, which is quite a shock for a lot of people, but then again it kind of isn't because it's EA we're working with here. What I did want to say was the fact that kind of worrying that they're changing the game, adding all these patch notes just before Champs is out. That could be a bit of a ploy from EA, but I don't know too much in terms of the ins and outs. All I'm saying is, you know, be aware that the game might feel a little bit different come next week, or, you know, in a few weeks when everyone's gotten used to the new patch. And in previous years, it has gone on to technically ruin the game in terms of gameplay. So it's going to be very interesting to see how that goes. But I suppose in an ideal situation, if anything, it improves the game. That would be absolutely perfect and, you know, fine by me. And then I'd lastly want to touch upon maybe something that I haven't mentioned all too much, but that I want to make it very clear that it will be coming to the channel. And that's the fact that I will be doing player reviews, as I've kind of hinted towards, you know, on my Instagram and Twitter, as I mentioned previously. In that I've got all the thumbnails and graphics ready, and got a lot of the gameplay ready, and I'm going to make these videos. So if you are interested in player reviews, if you're ever wondering which players are any good, maybe I'm not the best FIFA player, but I definitely do have the coins at the moment to be testing a few of these players and want to help you guys out. So if you're interested to see player reviews, let me know which players you think that I should try and review later on in the year, or even just as one of the first videos that I do. And well, that does pretty much sum up the video for me, but just before we sign off, I do want to mention again that if there are any series ideas that you might have in mind, and or that you want me to give a go on the channel, make sure to comment down below as well. And anyways, if you did enjoy the video, you know what to do. Hit that subscribe button with your notifications on to never miss any uploads. So we're all on the rest of FIFA 21, and I'll see you in my next video. Peace.